on this computer right now.
You should do it locally.
Yeah, I just turned it on, so it'll be local, and I'll just do what I've been doing so far, which is to just try to keep track of whose tile is which. I mean, most people I'll recognize, some I won't when I review the recording, and that's my only concern.
Oh, okay. You can make a note. The guy with the blue shirt, his name was. You do that. Keep notes.
Well, the guy with the rather extendedly shaggy grooming right now and munching on something there is.
That's more of a gray shirt. Anyway, I don't know if she's still here. Yeah, Julia's still here. I just have to finish up on. It turns out that a fellow named Irving Langmuir was the first one to create an incandescent light bulb.
Oh yeah.
You know about him?
No, I'm not.
He's my uncle, 3 times removed through an adopted parent.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I can't claim too much since it's an adopted parent and it's pretty darn far away. But when I applied for college, his little brother had gone to the same college I was applying to, so I got to put an uncle 3 times removed through an adopted parent when they said, any family gone to school? Anyway,
oh, wow.
So Jay's having fun. I am curious what, Jay has a cold truck with a Tesla pack underneath. Okay, so I need to go away because I need to go put that pump in.
All right, well, if Grace or anyone else or Ryan wants to record, I will authorize them to record and tell them it needs to be it needs to not be the cloud.
Yeah.
It would probably be doing anyway.
So we need to clean up our account, and we've known that, but now's not the time that it's going to happen.
I didn't realize that cloud recording actually followed a quota, a disk quota with the account. So
yes,
yeah.
It does. That is a cool looking van that Jay's got together there.
Is that?
Okay, but I got to go do a pump. Anyway.
Thank you. It's quite
Right, I've got to go negotiate for the usage of this computer. So yeah.
If you know what, you just turned recording on. I will take this one, come on, to full screen, and I'll tag recording here, and I'll have a backup copy. I'm going to start right now.
That would really be good. Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be recorded on this computer. It's giving me options. Okay, now we're both recording. I don't even know what time it is. It's 6:47, so we're starting a little bit before the meeting. And Jay is either really proud of his van or he really has to pee and can't stop walking. One of the two.
I'm just killing time.
I think he's proud of his van.
You don't think he just has to pee?
It is rather shiny, I must say.
It is a very shiny van, no doubt.
Yes.
Anyway, bye.
Bye. Okay, yeah, I'll do a little show and tell session during the meeting, but you are looking at the first ever electric refrigerated Tesla powered van.
Refrigerated. Wow.
We are very close to delivery on it. They say never show a fool a thing half done, so I'm sure SEVA will appreciate the glory of this incomplete project. So I'll take questions at a more apropos time later on, but please think of them.
So what did you start with?
This is a Dodge Ram Promaster 2500. And the other main ingredient was a wrecked Tesla Model 3.
Oh. But the battery was still good.
Yes. As was the motor, the HVAC compressor, the battery charger, basically everything except the body.
Oh, okay. Well.
And look inside. You'll be hard pressed to tell it's not factory, save a couple of unutilized mounting points.
Oh. Yeah. So you guys are good with Tinker's toys.
Good with what?
Tinker's toys.
Yeah, boys with their toys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm from an older generation, and it was hard for girls to get to play with those, but I somehow managed.
Well, I'm still benefiting from the older generation of girls who played with those. Barbara Denovan who donated a converted Volkswagen Rabbit to the first EV conversion class at South Seattle Community College, passed it forward, and her daughter just donated a Nissan Leaf to a nonprofit senior and low-income shuttle service on Lopez Island.
Oh, wow.
And that is moving forward as well. Well, pardon my munching. I'm also having dinner at this break stop in the road on my commute. And don't worry, I'm not acing the only charger here, but I could hook it up and demonstrate if so needed. Do we have any other late-breaking agenda items?
Jay, I've done a little bit of work on the survey. It's not done yet. So I spoke with the website lady. I spoke with her,
Cool.
but I haven't gotten a draft to either you or.
Thank you, Andrea. That would be Web Deb. I'm not sure whether she'll be joining us this evening.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know. I got started on it. She and I talked about what the survey might look like, and then I'll reach out to you and Grace.
All right, thanks. Your sound's not very good, Andrea, but we got the gist of it.
Yeah, I should turn off video to get sound. So.
Okay, and there are some officially unofficial National Drive Electric Week events being planned for those who really need to get their car show on. And hopefully Grace will tell us about the cruise that she is planning. Are you on yet, Grace? Yes, not yet.
No, Grace is not has not joined the meeting yet.
Okie dokie. Mr. Finn, ever so silent as of late. What's happening with you? Looks like Jeff Finn will continue his silence.
You're addressing anybody in particular?
Jeff Finn.
Jeff Finn, okay.
But that sounded like Brian. How is Brian?
Brian's alive. Totally spaced on the last meeting, but I saw the notification for this one, so here I am.
Excellent, thank you. Does Brian have anything to report?
Well, not specifically related to my car, I guess, but I did manage to get the somewhat larger than my last one solar array going at my house. So I've been actually using it to directly charge my car. So
Excellent. Feel free to describe said solar array.
okay, well, it's not that impressive. The array itself is about 750 watts, and it's feeding a battery bank that's currently about 5 kilowatt hours. It's the cells from Dave Cloud's go-kart.
Okay.
And then from there, there's a big inverter that's large enough to run the PFC 30 charger. So it's not the most efficient transfer mechanism. That's kind of phase 2, but at least it actually does work. And I can get about roughly 10 miles of range out of a dump charge. That's if the panels aren't producing anything. That's just straight off the battery. If the panels are producing something, I can get more than that, but obviously then it takes longer for everything to recover. So but it's still 3 miles.
I love hearing about the old school retasking of retasked components. That's fun.
Well, yeah, there are parts as old as about 60 years in this thing, so there's lots of retasked stuff. So,
All right. Well, I'm on the verge of retasking a bunch of salvaged silicon solar modules, the 4x4 foot monsters that got recalled. But these are survivors, the ones that did not blow up, and I'll be putting them over a concrete pad.
does that mean that they aren't going to blow up going forward, or just that they most likely would have by now?
That's my logic, but I'm not going to put them on top of any tinder.
Yeah, I suppose. As long as you can get at them easy and they don't do anything bad, if they do fail, then there's no real loss to using them. So,
Right. I'm planning to build a carport over my driveway, and of course I wouldn't do anything stupid like park a gasoline-powered car underneath them. So what if they spit a spark one time?
1 or 2 sparks hopefully wouldn't set even a gasoline car on fire, but who knows? So,
Yeah.
the mistake I made when I was buying those solar panels is I should have bought 6 instead of 5, because I think the optimum configuration for what the charge controller I've got would have been 2 parallel 3 series, or sorry, other way around, 3 parallel 2 series. Of course, I only bought 5 panels. So,
And a spare is always a good idea.
yeah, well, that's why I bought a few extra that I knew I was going to use. I knew I was going to use 3, but I should have bought a multiple. So,
So Jay, is that the refrigerated van you're talking about?
That it is. The first of hopefully many.
Okay, the big question, does that air conditioning pump work to cool that whole thing?
It brought it from 70 degrees to 45 degrees in 30 minutes flat.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So it's really sized well for it then.
Must be pretty well insulated.
I was less than pleased by our supplier's insulation, though it's basically a foam core boat hull. You can see how thick this panel is on the door. But that's all of the insulation. The depth of the door cavity is not accommodated in their design. So I went ahead and insulated the body panels and then applied the insulated fiberglass panels. So it should be a very well insulated van. In our first test, I had not put on one of the door skins yet on purpose. And sure enough, that door also got to 45 degrees very quickly and started sweating as all the humidity condensed on it. I'll do some thermal imaging once we get to final product. Hey, Grace, glad you're here.
Hi, Jay. That must be your refrigerator truck.
Yes, there is.
Wow, looks spiffy.
So
It's
what
very
kilowatt
shiny.
hour battery did you end up with?
75.
Oh, just out of the Model 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Terrific.
So does the same battery that moves the van forward do the refrigeration?
Yes, and the battery, the HVAC compressor in the Tesla is 30,000 BTU to keep the battery cool during supercharging. You see, there's the entire battery pack under here.
Oh.
And that HVAC compressor is twice the power of your typical small refrigerated truck compressor. We have 30,000 BTU instead of 12 or 14,000.
Oh. Well,
So was
We
it much
also
having
use a
a-
coil that's twice as big as typical, which makes it more efficient.
Oh, okay. All right. So it isn't cycling all the time.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's impressive, Jay.
Sorry, I'm fat fingering this phone as I eat dinner and stroll around in this parking lot. I see John McGowan has joined us all the way from Chicago. Thanks for staying up past your bedtime once again, Dr. McGowan. There he is. Well, Grace, I'd say we're officially underway now. You have been doing some planning about a potential cruise. Care to tell us about that?
Sure, thanks, Jay. Would love to see about if we could get anybody interested in the idea of doing something for Drive Electric Week, because we've been going the whole summer without doing events like we normally do. And some of us are just going, wow, I would love to do some outreach stuff. I thought if anybody would be interested, maybe we could get a few cars together and kind of cruise around Seattle and just in neighborhoods where people will be, kind of put the word out ahead of time through, blogs and social media and stuff for anybody who might be interested, because, they won't hear us coming. So we kind of want to just show off what electric vehicles look like these days. And if anybody be interested in doing that, I suggested Sunday, September 28th for doing that, because there's not a lot of traffic on a Sunday morning. And I'm kind of modeling it after a cruise that I took part in of classic cars back in June that turned out to be a great event. It was lots of fun, and there were people watching and waving, and it was kind of fun.
Would 2011 Leaf now be a classic car?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, our early electric vehicles are definitely classics. So yeah. But I'm hoping that we might, have a few different models as well as some conversions to kind of be able to show off the breadth of what's out there and available these days. And normally what we do for Drive Electric Week is, put together a show and have some signage and people advertise like how many oil-free miles have I traveled in my electric car. And so we're getting together a few things like that. Philip has volunteered to help with that too. He's got some oil-free mile signs, and so we'll be able to give everybody one and ask them to display it on your dashboard or somewhere on your car, maybe put it inside your window, for instance, and just write in how many, electric miles you've driven, and we can add those all up. I haven't put together an event on the Drive Electric Week website yet, but I will go ahead and do that if I have some other people who would be interested and would be willing to join us for that. So far, I don't have any commitments yet, but if I have, 2 or 3 people say, yes, I want to join in, then yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Haven't planned a route yet, but I'm looking at some locations to start and end that have charging stations that would be available. Particularly parking lots that won't have a lot of people in them on a Sunday morning. That lets out churches, for instance, where we normally meet up in Wallingford, but perhaps shopping centers or schools, or I was thinking actually of the South Seattle College campus that's down in Georgetown, because they do have some, I think 2 J1772s there. So that might be a nice place to meet or to wind up. Philip suggested that we might want to try doing an event like the Tesla Owners Group did a couple of years ago. Apparently they got a few Teslas together at a Fred Meyer where they have charging stations, and they did a food drive and just opened up everybody's trunks and, you know, asked people going to the store to come and, you know, bring a donation and put it in the front. Oh, and meanwhile, you get to look at some electric cars while you do that. That sounds kind of like a fun thing that we could do. It might take a little bit more organization than I currently have time for, but anybody who's interested in helping and putting together something like that, that would be fun. We could kind of end up a cruise at a Friedenmeier. I kind of think maybe it should be a separate event though, because the cruise will already probably take, you know, 1 to 2 hours, and then a couple other hours for you to do a food drive might be a little bit much of a commitment for a lot of people. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Comments, questions, anything? Somebody unmute and say something.
Thank you for working on it, Grace.
How does the date sound to people?
This is Jay. The date sounds good to me. And I like the idea of trying to do the cruise and any associated food drive somewhat separately so it doesn't take all day long. That's always the challenging thing about a big car show, is it takes up the whole bloody day.
So what's your date for the food drive?
Oh, we don't really have a date. We considered doing the cruise on the morning of Sunday, the 28th of September, because it's the beginning of drive.
Grace, the 28th of September is a Monday.
Yeah, the 27th.
Sorry, 27th. Looked at the wrong day on the calendar. Thank you, 27. Yes, thank you, Billy. Excellent. Yeah, if that's a good date, it's end of the month. There's usually not a lot of things going on. We do have to be careful not to have a gathering of more than 5 people. That's still restricted by the state. But if we're going to be in our cars, for instance, then that's not really a gathering. It's only if you're outside your cars and you're getting together within 6 feet of each other that would be an issue. So we don't want to run afoul of any state laws on that one. But if we stay in our cars, that's good. It also means we can do an event no matter the weather. You know, if it's cold and wet, hey, that's fine. We'll still be able to go out and do that. We do have some signs, some Drive Electric Week signs, SEVA banner. We're not sure who has it right now. Jay, do you happen to have it?
Yes, I do. And I have some more Indu signs.
Fantastic. I'm hoping somebody can strap that SEVA banner across the front of their car and we could just, you know, put them in the lead. That would be very cool. We'd do a little parade kind of thing.
At the risk of being garishly commercial, I could probably strap it across a great big van.
Ah, see, there you go. That sounds perfect, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And then we have some other Drive Electric Week signs too that we can figure out how to, you know, put on your door of your car or on your, put a little loop underneath the front hood of your trunk or whatever. Something that will work like that.
Well, thank you. It'll be nice to do some driving for Drive Electric Week as a change.
Yeah, I like that too. Very cool.
Park Electric Week.
Yeah, right. So I'll go ahead and create an event on the Drive Electric Week page and invite people to come and join us. And then the starting point and the route will be to come, but hopefully have nailed down within the next week so I can let everybody know. We'll may be able to apply for some funding from Plug in America. They do have some funds for people who are doing events. And I'm thinking that we probably need a little bit of money to be able to get some maps printed so that everybody who's participating has a map that shows the route. Just in case you get separated, you'll make sure to be able to join up with the group. And then get anything else printed or put together that we might want to include. But it should be a very simple kind of thing. Mostly it's going to be getting the word out. So we'll want to make sure to let everybody in the group know and have them reach out to their social networks, get some postings on some blogs, things like that.
Thank you, Grace. And I can happily report $500 of progress towards that budget.
Oh, cool.
I contacted Tacoma Power and Puget Sound Energy, saying obviously we weren't doing the ride and drives this year, but did they have interest in EV owner testimonials for their websites or virtual ride and drives? And they didn't bite on that, but PSE says, we'd like to support your efforts with a $500 donation. So all we have to do is send them a W-9 and an invoice. And I'll get that together with Brian. I'm in regular communication with him, though he does not seem to Zoom.
That sounds perfect. Thanks, Jay. That's for doing that outreach. Really appreciate it. Sounds great. And then if we do want to include some kind of food drive or do that at another time, when we can make sure we're not violating any gathering rules, for instance, then Teresa gave me some great hints about how to make that work. Because the Tesla Owners Group did that before, and I just think that would be a really fun idea and a way for us to get together without actually having a gathering, and maybe do a pop-up kind of thing at some different locations. Speaking of pop-ups, our colleague Phil Skoog has been doing some pop-up events, and would like to tell us more about it, plus some things that are coming up this Saturday that he's participating in.
I thought you were just going to tell us that Phil popped up yet again.
I was waiting for him to pop up right now at any moment, because he did say he wanted to be here tonight and talk about it and be able to get some folks involved. I don't see him yet, but hopefully he
Bill
will
only consents to call in by phone, which
yes, exactly. He said he was going to call in. So I'm afraid I don't have all the details, but I do know that there is some kind of gathering going on at the LeMay Car Museum this Saturday. There's also the Stillicum event that was postponed. However, Dick Murray is still going to be there, and if a few cars show up, he would welcome them. So I'm not sure exactly the details on that one. And then the Marymount Museum is also doing an event all on Saturday. So I think Philip was thinking about whether we could maybe do a few cars just stopping by each location at some points during the day between like 11 and 3. I'm not available on Saturday, but anybody else who is, that'd be great. I'm sure Philip will send out details. He's planning, I think, to be at the LeMay at 11 a.m. to start. So
that's good. I will head for Marymount since that's in my neck of the woods. Just like last night's fires in Graham, they were off of 240th. I'm off of 243rd.
Oh my! Wow, too close.
It was very smoky.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Cool. So there are some things going on, and the weather is kind of smoky right now, but hey, it's not raining, so there may be people out that we could reach out to. So that's good.
Rain would help, actually.
Sorry, rain what?
Rain would help get rid of the smoke particles.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, I wish we had some rain in the forecast, but nothing yet.
Your Tesla got a HEPA filter, so you can drive around in it all day.
I wish mine did, but it doesn't.
You don't have that?
No, only the Model S and X have those, and those are a little bit beyond my budget, so, yep. John probably, oh no, I don't know. Only the newer Model S's have them, so I don't know. And then any other thoughts or comments about events and what to do for Driver Electric Week? Good.
I missed the beginning. Where does it start and end?
We don't know yet. I was thinking about South Seattle College as a location simply because they do have charging stations there and it's not being used. and they have big parking lots. But I'm not sure if we would need to get permission to do that or not. So I'm going to check into that and see what we can do. But anybody else have some suggestions of good places that would be, you know, not too crowded where we could start or end? Unused parking lots on a Sunday morning?
That sounds like a good central location.
Yeah, kind of is. Cool. And it wouldn't be too long a cruise either. I mean, probably 6 to 8 miles kind of thing. So people wouldn't have to worry about running out of range, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, and on a Sunday morning, the purpose is not to show off to large crowds, but just be able to do some networking, wave at each other, lift our spirits up.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Impromptu talking next to our cars in the outdoors in an abandoned parking lot would not be inappropriate, I don't think.
Yeah, good. Sounds like. Cool. Well, what else do we have on the agenda there, Jay?
We have a fairly bare agenda with no legislative items coming up that I'm aware of. Of course, gridlock on the national level. Tesla stockholders still largely happy. Battery Day coming up. September, what day is it?
September 22nd. So coming up soon. Yep.
Did you say
All right.
22nd?
Yep, that's right.
22.
Should be some big news.
Didn't
Very
GM come up
interesting.
with our battery thing about the same time?
What was that?
Isn't GM having a battery show about the same time?
I do not know.
I see a lot of news today that they're going to actually give away Bolt to Uber drivers.
Cool.
Jay, I did have a quick comment on legislation.
Yes, Jeff.
It won't start till after the elections. Everybody's focused on that. The big elephant in the room is the extra money for the COVID-19 that they need. And there will be some legislation related to retail sales of EV manufacturers without dealerships. And then there's the Matthew Metz's group has legislation for a phase out of all electric vehicles that they'll be pushing this year.
It's a phase out of all gas vehicles, Jeff, but yes.
What?
Phase out of all gas vehicles.
Phase out, yes, that's it. Sorry. And I think that there'll be a couple other pieces of legislation. I'm not sure yet, but that's the news from Lake Wobegon.
Thank you, Jeff, because the Rivian carve-out bill did not pass last session, if I remember correctly, and I imagine they'll be coming back with fresh ammunition.
It's going to be a coalition. I was on a national call with all the EV manufacturers who want to use the Tesla. So that's coming. I'm just not sure where it is yet. For Washington State, it's going to be happening in all the states. Legislation is good along that line will be introduced.
Okay, thank you. Moving auto sales into the 21st century would be a big thing.
Okay, now I moved out of the way. I'm muted. my microphone, I think.
Good to see you joining us, Mr. Schiller. How go things remotely at the city of Seattle? Is that Mr. Schiller?
Oh,
Maybe
there
not.
we go. Sorry.
Oh, hey.
And I had my microphone muted. Well, let's see. The city, at some point, they're going to have to make some cuts, I think. And I don't know what that'll be, but I suspect they'll cut us back a little bit like what the state did, which is have people work not work one day a month or something like that to save some money because they got a big budget hole right now. But other than that, it's going okay. Everybody's mostly working at home.
I've been meaning to look for news on the city's first round of Nissan Leafs coming up surplus. Have you heard anything on that?
I do not know, but I could check and see if there's anything going on there.
Great, because those vehicles are coming up on 10 years old, and I don't believe they've been used much in the last few years.
Well, they haven't been used lately.
Yeah.
They've been actually that's a good point. They all the cars in the motor pool have I think they're starting to kind of but loan them to people that work out in the field or things like that because nobody's obviously using them downtown. So I think they had a big, like 70% drop in people renting them out in essence. So we're trying to make better use of them.
We're still pursuing low-income car share ideas. I mentioned earlier the donation of a 2011 Leaf to the Lopez Island Senior Shuttle. Unfortunately, the battery upgrades are not proving as economical as we had hoped 6 months ago. The cost of good collision salvage batteries has risen a good 50% as a result of not many people crashing their cars anymore and lots of people stuck at home looking to work on hobbies.
I can see that.
Yeah, but limited range early Leafs still have a good mission on the islands for non-profit transport.
Oh yeah, we went up to Orcas Island for 2 weeks, and which was luckily it was open. But yeah, there's quite a few Leafs and EVs up there, and that's a great. Yeah, I mean you don't need to go that far on the island. So
since we got a donated Leaf for this project, and economically it's not looking like a great deal to put a bigger battery into it, we hit on the alternative of they're just now they have two 24 kilowatt hour Leafs in service, so one can do the AM shift and then plug in while the other does the PM shift.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. A lot of people, a couple of my neighbors just recently bought some used Golfs. And they seem to like those.
I haven't studied the Volkswagen electrics very much. Any intel on their battery degradation or other issues?
No, but I've been meaning to find out. I know one of my neighbors tried to drive it up the Snoqualmie Pass and didn't quite make it. I learned the hard way.
It's the easiest way to learn.
Yeah. No, actually, I haven't asked them yet what their batteries are like, but they seem to be driving them quite a bit around the neighborhood here anyway.
My Kia Soul that I picked up for my 150 miles a day of commuting is at 48,000 miles now, and still regularly showing 93 miles in the mornings.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I haven't run Soul Spy lately, but it's got no visible degradation to Joe user.
Well, we had we got a big crack in our windshield. I'm kind of loath to fix it, but we need to fix it, I guess. The Leafs windshields are kind of pricey compared to some other ones that I've had to get repaired recently. And we just got some new tires on it too, which luckily those weren't too bad.
Mr. Easley, you've been very quiet. How uncharacteristic of you. What's happening?
Because I have been so busy all day today, but with club stuff. So it's I guess because I have a possible photo shoot coming up for a big advertiser who's looking for a newer model Black S for a photo shoot. And I've reached out to the club and I haven't heard anything yet. So because she needs the Black S for Monday the 14th for a 2-hour session, but she doesn't have the time nailed down yet. So if I can't find anybody, I'll have to let you know.
Okay.
So, but yes.
I've got a shoot coming up myself. Y'all might check out the YouTube channel Unsaleable Cars.
Gotcha.
This is a local guy named Tamir who focuses on cars that he thinks has collector potential because of their uniqueness and rarity. So he's going to feature my Mitsubishi i-MiEV.
Nice.
Just as soon as I get it detailed out and we set our appointment.
Yes, because her client is very specific that they want a newer Black Model S. So if all else fails, I may have to go rent one as a test drive to see if I can get her photo shoot. But so I've got my feelers out. We'll see what happens. But yes, and the Tesla Owners Club Puget Sound is officially renamed as Tesla Owners Washington now, since we now have 4 chapters across the state. So we finally made the jump and chaptered up Washington State. So
I have feelings akin to when I heard about the GM Impact as the name for an electric car. Do you imply that Teslas do not need to be towed or are capable of providing tows?
Gonna say, well, we'll see what happens because my VP's Model X just got towed because he was in an accident at the Cle Elum Superchargers. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So he got T-boned going into the Superchargers.
Ouch.
Yeah. So yes. So yes. So, and it's actually tow, not just tow.
Toa sounds Samoan.
Toa. I know, doesn't it though?
Okay.
Yes, and eventually I'm working on a supercharger rally that we can do, and I'll have clues and questions and all this kind of fun stuff at different superchargers within about a 3.5 hour drive between chargers. So hopefully I can get that done for sometime next month. But it's taking a lot longer to create all of these little scavenger hunt questions than I thought it would. So I was hoping to have it ready for a Drive Electric weekend, but it's not going to happen. So
thank you,
that's pretty much what's going on with the club. Yep, you're welcome.
Hey, Ron Easley, you're sitting there very solemnly. Have you figured out Fusion yet?
Working on it.
Any news of projects, old or new?
What probably most people have seen that the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet 1400 was running in Indianapolis this weekend.
No, do tell us more.
Okay, and Charlie can probably chime in on some of it too. But yeah, there were, I believe it's the Nationals, NHRA Nationals that were in Indianapolis this weekend. And there were some exhibition runs of the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet 1400 all-electric car that that Steven and Charlie and I worked on, and Scott Vandevort. And they did some exhibition runs, and this time Bob Tasca III, which is basically Ford's poster boy drag racer, actually was the one driving it, and they raced it against the gas Cobra Jet for this year. And I only know what the results were for one run. I don't know if they did more runs, but the gas car did beat the Cobra Jet 1400 by a little bit, but that was one of the Cobra Jet's slower runs. It's run much faster than that. So it's run like mid to low 8-second runs in the 160 mile an hour range. So pretty cool stuff, and we'll see what happens in the future with it. They can turn up the screws at all and get better performance out of it.
There's some great videos on that going into great depths about the car on the SEVA Facebook page.
Excellent. Thank you for that update, Ron. It's only been 7:30, but we've done a pretty good round. Prior to 7 o'clock, I did a walkabout of the electric refrigerated van that I am sitting in, and I could do a more formal show and tell now if there's still any interest, or I'll also call for any other news of note for the club.
Give us a tour there, Jay.
All righty then. Thank you.
Oh,
Yes.
I was going to say, I just had one thing first, if that's okay.
Please go.
As I have a friend who is trying to sell a vehicle, and I suggested that perhaps some other electric vehicle enthusiasts might be interested in checking out what she has. It's kind of a rare vehicle, though. It's a scooter, and I couldn't find out much about it, but she gave me a little bit of information. I'm looking to see where I have it now. Oh, man. My computer is just being really slow. It's called a Govex. Anybody heard of Govex before?
No.
Engineered in Germany, built in Poland. She says there's only one place to buy them in the US, and that's in Austin, Texas. So that's where she got it. It's a 2014 model. It is all electric. Oh, man. Sorry, my computer is just being really slow here. I'm trying to look for information. It's called an S3.4. It's a 2014. She's moving. She lives here in Burien, but she's moving to the East Coast and just can't really take it with her. But it has not run for 2.5 years because apparently the throttle has a problem. So she's hoping that there's somebody out there who might be interested in taking it on as a project. As far as she knows, the battery is still good. It's a lithium nickel cobalt dioxide carbon battery, 72 volts, 40 amp hours, 2,800 watt hours. Charge time is 4 hours and the range is 40 to 60 miles.
Okay, well, I know of one person to send it to.
Okay.
Who successfully repaired the last orphan scooter that was appealed to SEVA.
Cool.
But otherwise operates under the radar. So
okay,
I'll send that on.
Well, I've got the details. I'm going to send it out, and I'll just send it in an email to you then. But if anybody's interested, she's thinking of either getting it repaired and keeping it or selling it to somebody who wants to work on it. But she doesn't really know about a price. So she did say that she looked up what a new one would cost. And it's about $7,300, I think. So she's guessing it's going to be, worth quite a bit less than that. But if anybody had kind of an estimate of what she should be asking for it, just a guess even, that would be really cool.
For an orphan like that, I generally apply state surplus rules, which is 10% of original government purchase price.
10%? Oh.
I'm serious.
That's for
The
your
orphans are so difficult to deal with.
Yeah. Good point. But she said it's a great vehicle, and she's not sure how many miles on it, but not that many. So, yeah.
Yep.
Good. I'll send the information to you, Jay. If you can pass it on, that would be awesome. If anybody else wants information, I'll be glad to send it to you too. I'll just send it out to everybody, actually, just in case there's somebody out there who wants more details.
Okay, well, I will commence a show and tell on the Maxwell vehicles, EV Works, refrigerated Ram Promaster 2500. This is a 159-inch wheelbase that will have a payload of at least 2,500 pounds. It, as you can see, has the Pentastar V6 removed and replaced with a Model 3 drivetrain. There's very few clues other than some abandoned mounting points to show you that it's not all factory, but it's a conversion we're proud of. It's very, very clean. And this is the refrigerated box. We're still working on the controls for the reefer unit, so it's disemboweled right there, but this is going to provide 30,000 BTUs of cooling to the refrigerated box. You can see the walls are thick, sacrifice some cargo capacity, but it is well insulated. And this van will be used by the University District Food Bank for its grocery rescue vehicle. And it's got LED lighting up in the ceiling, which is super bright. The van's gone to sleep for too long now. It will only run the lights for 5 minutes when the doors are opened up without restarting. Diamond plate floor, E-track in the walls to build shelves or hold the cargo still, and the full Model 3 battery underneath. You can see that ground clearance is not hardly compromised. Anybody can throw questions at me if they like.
Oh,
That,
How does this
go ahead.
compare to what Steve Johnson's doing?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
Steve Johnson's.
How does this compare to Steve Johnson's project?
It's much simpler, and it only uses factory parts. There's the only customization in the vehicle is a few circuit boards. So everything is replaceable with off-the-shelf, aka out of the wrecking yard, Tesla and Dodge components. The only custom machining besides the brackets that hold the battery and the driveline in place were the axles. So we've got custom axles going from the Tesla gearbox out to the Ram hubs. But the ABS, the automatic stability control, the hill hold feature, all that works.
Who made the axles?
A machinist down in the LA area.
All right.
so is there a business model on make this all work with price and
Yeah, we're basically, the conversion runs half the price of a Lightning van or a Zenith van and has better performance. And because it's using OEM components, there's the beating heart of the vehicle down there inside the original battery box in the floor. We believe it's going to have better reliability. We've had the only glitch we've had in our beta tester van that I went down to LA and helped build in February is the air conditioning system has faulted out a few times. So, but it's been 100% reliable as far as driving and charging. So,
How old was it when you converted it?
this van was the customer's preference was a pretty van that didn't show any wear and tear. So this is a 2019 model that had 53,000 miles on it from courier service. Maxwell has converted vehicles with as many as 300,000 miles going back to 2014. The Model 3 had less than 20,000 miles on it before it was totaled.
What kind of overall range do we figure it's going to get in the way it's going to be used?
Oh, thanks, Brian.
Not highway hauling, but running around to grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mention that yet. I am in my second day of testing, as you can see by all the fast food in there. This one with the 75 kilowatt hour battery is rated at 175 highway miles.
Wow.
I believe that's quite conservative. I'm driving 150 miles per day in it, and the range is tracking beautifully. And I'm driving 60 to 65 miles an hour on the highway. The next phase is to load it up to gross vehicle weight and do some urban cycle driving.
Yeah, that was my next question, was about driving empty or full. So.
Yeah. Well, when I tested our passenger version of this van, I put 2,400 pounds of dead lead acid batteries in the thing and did a number of commutes and local cycles on that. And it was amazing, especially on the highway, just how little the payload affected it. But a good 20% impact around town. Because these are very high pressure tires.
Well, that is impressive.
Jay,
So it's been fun.
Jay, are you parked at a blink station without plugging in?
Notice that there are two, and I made sure I wasn't icing anybody out. But
Oh, okay.
the one thing that is slightly less than convenient about this van, the fast charge version of these vans will have the CCS port installed right here. But for now, we are using the original fuel filler port right next to the driver's door. And that means that the cord is in the way of operating the driver's door frequently. But it makes sure you'll unplug the thing before you go anywhere. Yeah. Blinks continue to be a very reliable network in their first year of post-IPO. I think the credit goes to Rick Durst and company out of Portland who are maintaining the network now. But I've even encountered some of their second generation charging stations out in the wild. And I use their fast chargers a lot. All right. Well, any other questions or comments?
Jay, did you say that it's going to have CCS in later versions?
Correct. CCS is going to be installed next week on our passenger van. This one is not going to have DC fast just because the food bank didn't feel the need for that option.
So how long till it gets a solar roof?
Also, the food bank has indoor parking, so that wasn't an option we went into with any depth on that build. But especially on our passenger version, which has the smaller Model 3 battery, it's only rated for 125 miles of range. All that real estate's very attractive.
So how are they going to do CCS charging? I mean, that's not a usual DIY type of a conversion.
Well, this isn't a DIY type of conversion. Maxwell Vehicles is ex-Tesla engineers.
Okay.
They're highly professional. But yeah, they have had CHAdeMO going for months, and the CCS was a much bigger challenge, and ours will only be the second van that they've implemented it on.
CCS fast charging?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That also answers my question of where the knowledge base came from to integrate all the OEM components. So.
Yeah, their CTO, yeah, it's public record. He was the guy who was behind EVSEupgrade.com, a self-taught computer engineer who doesn't even have a high school diploma.
Yeah, well, those are the type of guys that can do it, you know.
Yeah, but the IP is, we believe everything's in order. It's been through multiple layers of legal review, and because we're basically transplanting everything and disabling supercharging, you know, not sponging off the Tesla network, we're just reusing salvage components. We believe everything's in the clear legally. We're versus the other Tesla hacker that's in business, Véhicules Électriques Simon André, who we partnered with on the Leaf Battery Exchange.
Right.
They have been unlocking performance mode in Tesla vehicles that were not spec'd with such. And of course, they do it for less money than Tesla will. And so Tesla, of course, sent out a software update to block their method. And they had the gumption to then quickly produce a nice try module that they plugged into the car and blocked Tesla's block. And they posted a YouTube video of their success quite quickly. So I'm really waiting to see how the hammer comes down on them.
So a software war.
Yeah, it involved hardware. I mean, they planted gateway computers inside the vehicle to send the right signals. So software and hardware.
Okay.
But these guys have turned two-wheel drive Model 3s into all-wheel drive Model 3s with salvage drivetrain components. They've done some amazing stuff.
Yeah, Rich's Rebuild Shop did the same thing.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts.
And I've stopped in on Rich Rudman a few times in the past few months, and things have actually been looking up for him. He's gotten some hobbyist orders for chargers and controllers. So he was feeling good last time I saw him.
Good.
Okay, well, any other business? We'll look forward for Grace's details on the cruise and the scooter that needs a new home. And I will sit in on the Colterra Beyond Gas meetings. I have not, endorsed their bills with SEVA names and would not without formal action by the club, but I'm staying apprised of what they're doing. And I'll certainly circle around with Dick Murray on his small Stilcom event. And I guess with that, I will bid you adieu, because I still have many miles to go.
Would like to say something?
Yeah.
Hi, testing 1, 2, 3.
Brian.
Just since the subject of weird scooters came up, does anybody in SEVA that we know of own or have any familiarity with the BMW C Evolution electric scooters?
Oh.
Apparently they're a certain states only electric vehicle made by BMW, but it's a scooter. It's a highway capable scooter. So reason I ask is a friend of mine actually bought one. So, and I've been bugging him to attend one of these meetings and show it off, but he hasn't. But I was wondering if anybody else in the group had one or knew of them. So.
Nope.
Crickets. Okay, so nobody. I'm not surprised. I don't think they made too many of them. They're kind of a compliance scooter, apparently, if such a thing exists. But so far, he seems to be pretty happy with it. So. all I got.
So what's the status on Brian Henderson? Is he still out of state?
Yeah, he's active. I talk with him on a regular basis, and we are, I believe, up to date on our reporting. Otherwise, it's just quiet and status quo.
Okay.
As Brian is our treasurer, we did discuss about looking for some ideas about how we should be budgeting and spending our money. And I don't think we've done anything on that yet, although I think Andrea was going to be working on a survey to go out to folks asking about, for some feedback so we could start to develop some kind of budget. Andrea, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, I spoke with Deb and we talked about different kind of things that we'd be looking for in a survey. So I'm trying to figure out, I just tried doing it on a survey called Survey Planet. So I'd like to send the draft survey questions to you and Jay and whoever else would be interested, because it'd be good to get some demographic data along with questions on how people want to expand our mission. Yeah, I can send that to you. I'll probably be done with it tonight or tomorrow, so I can send it to you guys as a draft, and then we can send it out to the group. And I think it'd be great to put it on the listserv, but also get it out to whoever we can, just to get some ideas and, and to increase volunteerism. So definitely help me with the wording on any of the ride and drive stuff, and, let me know anything that you like or dislike about it. But just finishing it up right now.
Thank you, Andrea, because we're in the unique situation where SEVA has more money and less energy than in the past, and we need to find ways to leverage that resource.
Yeah, I think it's always good to know sort of what people are thinking. We have an anecdotal idea of how many people come to the meetings and, who some people are in touch with, but I think it's always good to get some pretty good demographics, especially as we go to Olympia with anything. We just have better data to say who we're representing and add things to the website. So the website is pretty dynamic so people know what we're up to. But yeah, I think it's just doing more with what we have, and it's awesome to be able to kind of think about some ways to do education with that money that Dale Foundation got us.
Mm-hmm.
Any more news on EAA and the leadership and status and what's happened to EAA?
No crickets.
No crickets? No crickets?
Not even crickets.
Not even crickets, okay. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye. It sounds like the meeting's kind of over with, so I will see you all. Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Bye.
Hey, Mark.
Okay, well, does anyone else have anything for the good of the order, or are we about done for tonight?
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thanks,
I guess we're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Watch your email for more details coming soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.